Girl, let me tell you, those raging sugar cravings hitting you like a truck during perimenopause. Totally normal. In fact, it's one of the most common and frustrating side effects of this hormonal transition phase. But before we dive into why your body is basically a sugar-seeking missile these days, let's get one thing straight. You are not alone in this struggle. Millions of women are right there with you, staring longingly at the office candy jar or dreaming about a giant frosted cinnamon roll for breakfast. The hormonal hocus pocus behind sugar cravings. Blame it on the hormonal hocus pocus. As estrogen levels start dipping during perimenopause, our bodies go into full-on panic mode. It's like your brain is whispering, "Oh no, the estrogen is leaving. Quick, crave all the sugary, carb-loaded comfort foods before it's too late." See, when estrogen drops, it can trigger insulin resistance and wacky blood sugar levels. And what does your body crave when blood sugar is out of whack? You guessed it, sugary, starchy treats that'll spike those levels right back up. It's your body's way of trying to self-medicate the hormonal imbalance. But that's not all. Estrogen is also linked to regulating serotonin and endorphins, the feel-good brain chemicals. With less estrogen flowing, you might find yourself craving sugary pick-me-ups to boost those dwindling happiness hormones. The battle plan: outsmarting your cravings. Okay, so now we know the science behind why you're basically a walking sugar craving these days. But how the heck do we outsmart these pesky gremlins without resorting to a sugar-induced coma? Here's your battle plan, filled with sweet victory strategies. Know your triggers. Are you more likely to crave sugar when you're stressed, bored, tired? Once you identify your personal triggers, you can develop counter strategies to address them. For example, if stress is the main culprit, try relaxation techniques like meditation, yoga, or deep breathing exercises. Bored? Pick up that hobby you've been putting off or call a friend for a distraction. And if fatigue is making you reach for the cookies, prioritize getting enough sleep. 2. Don't skip meals. The classic "I'll just skip this meal to bag some calories for later" mentality. We've all been there. But here's the thing: skipping meals can actually backfire and worsen cravings later on when your blood sugar bottoms out. Aim for 3 balanced meals and a couple of healthy snacks throughout the day. This helps keep your blood sugar stable so you're not falling victim to spikes and crashes that'll have you beelining for the nearest vending machine. Choose complex carbs. Okay, I know what you're thinking, but Brenda, you just told me to stop eating all the sugary treats. Hear me out. The key is swapping out those simple, refined carbs for their complex cousins. Instead of sugary pastries, white bread, and processed snacks, go for complex carb sources like whole grains, quinoa, brown rice, oats, fruits, veggies, legumes. These options are packed with fiber and nutrients that provide longer-lasting energy without spiking your blood sugar. They'll help you feel fuller for longer so you can kick those cravings to the curb. Spice up your life. Here's a fun little trick: add spices and herbs to your food. Believe it or not, spices like cinnamon, nutmeg, ginger, and even a kick of cayenne pepper can help curb those pesky sugar cravings. The bold, unexpected flavors can trick your taste buds into thinking they're getting a treat. Plus, many spices like cinnamon have been shown to help regulate blood sugar levels. It's a win-win. Hydrate, hydrate, hydrate. This one is huge, ladies. Sometimes, those nagging hunger pangs and cravings are really just thirst in disguise. When you're even mildly dehydrated, it can absolutely trigger false signals of hunger and intense sugar cravings. Make sure you're drinking plenty of water throughout the day, at least 8 glasses. You can also mix it up with unsweetened salsa, herbal teas, or infused waters for extra flavor. Proper hydration helps your body and mind function optimally, so you can shut down those pesky fake cravings. Okay, so we've covered some solid tactics for managing those raging sugar cravings. But what about the foods that can actually make those cravings even worse? While indulging in a sweet treat every now and then is perfectly okay, in fact, depriving yourself can backfire. There are certain sugar saboteurs you'll want to limit. Sugary drinks. One of the biggest offenders here, sugary drinks like sodas, juices, sweetened teas and coffees. These beverages are loaded with added sugars and lack any nutrients, fiber or protein to keep you satisfied. In fact, studies show that drinking sugar-sweetened beverages can actually trigger more cravings and hunger pangs shortly after consumption. Those liquid calories just don't provide the same satiety as solid foods. So ditch the sodas, bottled juices and frappuccinos. Opt for water, unsweetened seltzers, or beverages like unsweetened tea or black coffee instead. Processed foods. From chips and crackers to granola bars and frozen meals, so many of our modern processed snacks are secretly loaded with added sugars. Food manufacturers will often sneak in sugar under different names, like high fructose corn syrup, dextrose, maltose, you name it. The more you can stick to whole, unprocessed foods, the better. Things like fruits, veggies, lean proteins, whole grains and healthy fats will help stabilize blood sugar without triggering an insulin spike and subsequent craving. Artificial sweeteners. Now, you might be thinking, aha, I'll just use artificial sweeteners instead of real sugar. That'll keep my cravings at bay, right? Not so fast. While artificial sweeteners like sucralose, saccharin, and aspartame don't contain actual sugar calories, they can still trigger cravings in many people by activating the sweet taste receptors. Your brain basically gets a sweet signal without any caloric payoff, leaving you feeling unsatisfied and potentially craving more sugar shortly after. Some studies have even linked artificial sweetener consumption to increased sugar cravings over time. The bottom line: use artificial sweeteners sparingly and don't rely on them as a free pass for unlimited sweet treats. Stick to natural, unrefined sweeteners like honey, maple syrup or coconut sugar when possible. Healthy swaps to crush cravings. Okay, so we've covered some solid tactics to manage cravings, and which foods to avoid that can make them worse. But what about healthy, satisfying swaps to have on hand when those sugar gremlins just won't quit? Here are some clever, nutritionist-approved options to help crush cravings. Greek yogurt parfait. Instead of sugary ice cream or pudding, go for a protein-packed parfait. Layer plain Greek yogurt with fresh berries, a drizzle of honey or maple syrup, and a sprinkle of crunchy nuts, seeds or granola. The protein, fiber and healthy fats will help you feel satisfied. Frozen grapes or banana bites. Craving something sweet and frosty? Keep grapes or banana chunks frozen for a naturally sweet, local treat. You can even get fancy and dip the banana bites in melted dark chocolate or yogurt before freezing. Chia pudding. The gelatinous texture of chia pudding made with nut milk can mimic tapioca or rice puddings, but it's packed with fiber, protein and healthy omega-3s. Add cinnamon, vanilla extract and a drizzle of maple syrup for natural sweetness. Sweet potato toast. Thinly slice a sweet potato lengthwise and toast until crispy. Top with nut butter, cinnamon and a drizzle of honey or maple syrup for a satisfying, nutrient-dense snack. Baked apple chips. Thinly slice apples, toss with cinnamon, and a light spray of oil, then bake at 200 F until crispy and sweet. These make a perfect chip alternative to satisfy crunchy, sugary cravings. No-bake energy bites. With just a few simple ingredients like oats, nut butter, honey or maple syrup, you can whip up a batch of no-bake energy bites loaded with fiber and healthy fats to keep you satisfied between meals. The key with all of these swaps is focusing on options with fiber, protein, healthy fats and natural sweeteners. This nutrient trifecta helps stabilize blood sugar so you don't experience the spike and crash that leads to more cravings. Supplements that may help. While diet, exercise, and other lifestyle adjustments should be the focus for managing perimenopausal sugar cravings, some supplements may help provide additional support. Chromium. This mineral plays a role in regulating blood sugar levels and improving insulin sensitivity. Some studies suggest chromium supplementation can help curb cravings for sugary, carb-heavy foods. Magnesium. Many women are deficient in magnesium, a mineral involved in blood sugar control and hundreds of other bodily processes. Boosting magnesium intake may help reduce sugar cravings, especially if they're linked to stress, PMS, or hormonal changes. Zinc. Like magnesium, zinc is another mineral that plays a crucial role in blood sugar regulation and insulin sensitivity. It's also involved in neurotransmitter function in the brain, which can impact cravings. Glutamine. This amino acid has been shown to reduce sugar and carb cravings by providing an alternative energy source for the brain. It may be especially helpful for cravings brought on by stress. Gymnema sylvestre. Used for centuries in Ayurvedic medicine, this herb has been found to reduce cravings for sweet foods by temporarily blocking the ability to taste sweetness. Interesting, right? As always, check with your doctor before starting any new supplements, especially if you have any underlying health conditions. But adding one of these science-backed options to your routine may provide an extra boost. The mind-body connection. We've covered a ton of helpful tips and tricks for managing those raging sugar cravings from a nutritional standpoint. But at the end of the day, our minds and emotions play a huge role too. See, cravings don't just stem from physical hunger or blood sugar dips. They're often intricately tied to our psychological state, habits, and emotional associations with food. Maybe you're used to rewarding yourself with a treat after a long day. Or perhaps sugary snacks provide a temporary comfort or distraction from stress, anxiety, or sadness. Cravings can also strike when we're bored, tired, or procrastinating on other priorities. The point is, there's often an underlying emotional driver fueling those sugar cravings. So in addition to focusing on nutrition and lifestyle, it's important to bring more mindfulness to your eating habits and cravings. Here are some helpful mind-body tips. Check in with yourself. When a craving strikes, pause and do a self-assessment. Are you actually physically hungry? What's your current mood or emotional state? Understanding the why behind the craving is powerful. Find alternate comforts. If the craving seems emotionally driven, try to find a non-food alternative source of comfort, distraction, or reward. Call a friend, take a bath, go for a walk, read an inspiring book, anything to break the instant gratification food association. Practice mindful eating. When you do decide to indulge a craving, bring your full presence to the experience. Smell the food, visually observe it, take small bites and tune into the flavors and textures. You may find you feel satisfied after just a few bites. Ride the wave. Cravings often come in intense waves, but they'll pass whether you indulge them or not, usually within 20 to 30 minutes. The next time a craving hits, set a timer and ride out the wave through deep breathing, a quick meditation, or other distraction. Be compassionate. At the end of the day, don't beat yourself up over cravings or slip-ups. They're a normal part of being human, especially during the hormonal roller coaster of perimenopause. Show yourself some kindness and simply recommit to your goals. The takeaway. Let's be real, raging sugar cravings can make the already rocky perimenopausal years feel even more daunting. But the good news is, you're not powerless against these pesky gremlins. By understanding the hormonal forces at play, identifying your personal triggers, and arming yourself with smart swaps and lifestyle adjustments, you can absolutely take control. It's all about finding the right blend of nutrition, supplements, mind-body practices, and self-compassion to make this transition a little easier. And remember, you've got a whole tribe of women out there who can totally relate to the struggle. So stay strong, swap smartly, and don't be afraid to indulge your cravings in a balanced way from time to time. Perimenopause may be dishing out the sugar cravings, but you've got this.